about a hips width apart, and have your shoulders aligned with your hips and your ears align with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen your spine, putting some space in between the vertebrae. Hands can be resting in your lap or on your thighs. And just put a little bit of length in the back of the neck. So your chin is, not dropping too far down or lifting too high up. And take a nice deep breath. And then bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp. Releasing any tension there. Relax the forehead, the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the temples. Just release any tension in your ears and your inner ear. Relax the back of the head at the base of the skull, kind of at that place where you're lengthening your neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades just to drop down. And relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. And be aware of the sensations of your breath. So as you inhale and exhale, you'll notice the air is a little cooler through the nostrils, a little warmer as you exhale. You just notice the sensations of the air as it flows in and out. And then notice the chest cavity expanding and contracting. A 365-degree motion, 360-degree motion, 365 days in the year, 360-degree motion. Just breathing out and in. Try not to raise your shoulders too high. And then relax the belly. You'll notice the breath sensations also in the belly. And be aware of any sensory information in your environment. So particularly sound, it's usually the most distracting. Maybe some smells, but just if there's anything there other than your meditation bubble, just allow all of those distractions to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then just check the mind. This fascinating, beautiful thing we have. It's kind of working and balancing and keeping our body in, homeostasis so cleverly, even when we're sleeping. And this beautiful mind is supported by this extraordinary brain and body we have. So try and put some space in between those thoughts of yours. Recognizing we do have some kind of habitual, thought patterns and, that, and notice these mental moments as they arise and abide. And if you don't follow them, they will just dissolve. And be curious about what's in your mind. Take a step back and be objective about what you're looking at, almost like a scientist. And then bring to mind some people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers. And the ones we don't like. And just imagine they're all equal, and they wish to be happy. They wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So, because our mind is impermanent, nothing is fixed in cement. And they're even now finding that the brain has far more plasticity at a later age than they initially realized. Of course, when you're 5 years old, learning a language is going to be a lot easier than when you're 40. But there is levels of plasticity in our brain that they didn't realize was there before. And then, so it means that, it means things are impermanent. It means that you're not going to be stuck with all this kind of negativity for the rest of your life. You can change it. And there is no negativity that can't be purified, according to Lama Yeshe. And the purification process that we're doing is basically a psychological one. And, he would say, we're creating negativity with our mind. We can do exactly the opposite and create space for positivity. We put so much positivity in our mind, there's no room for negativity. We're just kind of like push it out. And we do have the power to do that. So we start, first of all, with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long. They're sort of shaped like lotus petals. And they're very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And then here we have this little section on developing compassion. And it's in the section, it's a subsection in reliance, because we need to rely on other beings to develop a wish for them to be free from suffering. So we think about the people we've harmed, and then think about the people who've harmed us. And the harm they've caused you is going to result of suffering for them in the future. So, for these people, you can particularly have, a wish for them to be free from suffering. And so we then do the power of remedy, and we start with the body, and this is here where it's like the actual medicine. So we do some visualization and some mantra. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and just pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Trida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Trida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Trida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Trida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Trida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all our inappropriate speech, not knowing what to say, not knowing how to use our wisdom to sort of help others with our speech. So imagine all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. And part of that wisdom is also knowing, when to speak and when not to speak. So, part of the purification of the speech is maybe we just talk too much. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes just instantly dispels the darkness. So you imagine the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, just imagine instantly all the darkness of the negativity of your mind is completely disappears, all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges. All of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And now think that there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine the Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind. So you imagine this is all happening at once. The nectar flows down, purifying the body. The nectar flows up, purifying the speech. And then the light comes in and just blasts. So if you could just imagine, it's kind of busy. But just imagine we're moving at a much more subtle level here, eradicating even the subtlest imprints from the mind. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So without making a decision, we're never going to do anything. So just decide. And then it's really important to rejoice in how much effort everybody's putting in to coming along here consistently. And now for so long, over 4 years, I still really can't believe it. Amazing. And then think of something you'd like to work on. Maybe it's some little thing with your speech. Maybe you have a habit to ruminate or exaggerate. Whatever your thing is, we just have these habit energies that can be changed, as I mentioned in the beginning. It's so good to know that the only permanent thing in this world is impermanence. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with you, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to recommend meditating on this idea of emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay, let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Number 10 somewhere. Keep going. We are there. Emerged from cyclic life's imposing forest, the single teacher, guru for all beings, in every well-known world, in all directions, the eminent bestower of the Dharma, concealed by armor made of loving kindness, well shielded by the shield of empathy, with wisdom sword in hand and bow and arrow, concluding war with ignorance and kleshas. The Mara's enemy and tamer hero, eliminating threats from all four Maras, defeating all the armies of the Maras, a guide for living beings, the perfect Buddha. Okay, everyone. So remember to dedicate for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers as well. Okay, everybody. Good night. Lots of love. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.